Alexander the Great, a name that echoes through history. Conqueror of lands, ruler of empires, and a legend who reshaped the world. But all legends must come to an end, and for Alexander that end came far too soon. At just 32 years old in the heart of Babylon, his life was cut short. But what really happened to the man who seemed invincible? Was it a sudden illness, or perhaps a sinister plot? Some say he was poisoned, others believe it was a fever. His death remains one of history's greatest mysteries. In the days leading up to his death, Alexander was planning new conquests. His sudden demise left his empire in chaos. Join us as we delve into the enigma of Alexander the Great's mysterious death. It was the year 323 BC. Alexander had just returned from the grueling campaign in India, where he had conquered vast territories, but his vision was far from finished. The dream of an even greater empire was alive, and he had plans to push further into Arabia and beyond. He had already united the East and West, but he wanted more. He was still planning, still dreaming, still ready to fight, but fate, as it often does, had other plans. One fateful day, Alexander fell ill. It wasn't a battlefield wound, nor was it something easily explained. One moment he was in good health and the next, he was writhing in feverish pain. His condition baffled the best physicians of the time. They tried every known remedy, but nothing seemed to work. As days turned into weeks, his condition worsened. The once mighty conqueror was now bedridden, his dreams of further conquest slipping away. His generals and close companions were at a loss, unable to comprehend the sudden decline of their leader. Rumors began to spread, some whispering of poison, others of a curse, but the truth remained elusive. On June 10, 323 BC, Alexander the Great, the man who had once seemed invincible, took his last breath. His death marked the end of an era, and the beginning of one of history's greatest mysteries. To this day, the exact cause of his death remains unknown, shrouded in speculation and intrigue. Was it poison, a disease, or something more sinister? The enigma of Alexander's final days continues to captivate historians and scholars alike. His illness was sudden, and the symptoms were baffling. It started with a fever, followed by a debilitating weakness. Within days, Alexander's condition worsened. His body was racked with pain, his strength diminished, and soon he could barely speak or move. His generals and advisors were desperate for answers. Some even called in doctors from across the empire, but none could agree on what was happening. Was it a natural illness, or was something darker at play? Some speculated he was poisoned, perhaps by a rival or even a trusted ally. Theories ranged from typhoid fever to malaria, but none could be confirmed. The mystery of Alexander's death remains unsolved, leaving historians and scholars to ponder over the enigma. And that's where things get really mysterious. Over the centuries, historians have proposed countless theories about Alexander's untimely death. Some believe he succumbed to a fever caused by malaria or typhoid, which were common at the time. Others suggest that he might have been poisoned, an idea that still sparks debates today. Let's talk about the poisoning theory for a moment. It's a captivating one, especially when you consider Alexander's position at the time. He had many enemies, both within his court and beyond. Some argue that his generals, tired of his endless ambition, might have conspired to end his life. After all, the idea of a vast empire led by a single ruler was no small burden to bear. But there's a problem with this theory. If Alexander was poisoned, why did his symptoms take so long to manifest? Poisonings, especially those designed to kill quickly, usually work much faster than the slow decline Alexander experienced. This has led some to believe that if it was poison, it was a slow-acting one, possibly a rare toxin that could take days to show its effects. Another theory suggests that Alexander might have died from a pre-existing medical condition. Given his numerous battles and injuries, some historians believe he might have had a chronic illness that eventually took its toll. The suddenness of his death, however, still leaves many questions unanswered. There are even theories that suggest divine intervention played a role in his demise. Some believe that the gods, displeased with his conquests, might have orchestrated his death. Regardless of the cause, Alexander's death marked the end of an era and the beginning of a new chapter in history. The mystery surrounding his death continues to captivate historians and enthusiasts alike. His legacy, however, remains as powerful as ever, inspiring countless stories and legends. And so, the enigma of Alexander the Great's death continues to be one of history's greatest mysteries. Then there's the natural cause theory. Malaria and typhoid fever were common in the region at the time. Some scholars believe that Alexander contracted one of these illnesses, and that, combined with his exhausting campaigns, weakened his immune system to the point of collapse. This theory would explain the symptoms, fever, chills, and weakness, but it doesn't explain the rapid decline. Still, there's another theory that stands out. What if Alexander was just physically exhausted? His campaigns had been relentless. He'd led his army across thousands of miles, through treacherous terrain, battling exhaustion, injuries, and stress. Could it have been that his body simply gave out after years of unrelenting ambition? Another possibility is that Alexander suffered from acute pancreatitis. This condition can cause severe abdominal pain, fever, and vomiting. Given the lack of advanced medical care, such an illness could have been fatal. Additionally, some historians suggest that Alexander might have had West Nile virus. This virus, transmitted by mosquitoes, can lead to encephalitis, causing severe neurological symptoms. Symptoms include high fever, headaches, and muscle weakness. The combination of these factors, disease, exhaustion, and relentless campaigning, could have overwhelmed even a man as formidable as Alexander. Ultimately, the exact cause of his death remains one of history's greatest mysteries. Then there's the political angle. Alexander was in Babylon, the seat of one of the most powerful empires in the world. He had already made powerful enemies among his own people. His decision to integrate Eastern customs and traditions with Greek ones had upset many of his men. Could some of his closest advisors or generals have wanted him gone so they could take power? Perhaps, but this theory too remains speculative. There's just no concrete evidence that points directly to foul play. In the end, we're left with more questions than answers. The power vacuum left by Alexander's death led to a fierce struggle for control among his generals. Alliances were formed and broken, and the once unified empire began to fracture. Some historians believe that the political instability following his death was a direct result of his controversial policies. While we may never know the full truth, the political ramifications of Alexander's death were undeniably profound. Whatever the cause, Alexander's death sent shockwaves across his empire. It left a vacuum of power and plunged his empire into chaos. The empire that he had fought so hard to build would fracture, and in the years that followed, his generals, the Diadochi, would battle for control of his legacy. But his influence would remain. He had changed the world in ways no one could have imagined. Alexander's death, at such a young age, is one of the greatest mysteries of history. Was it the result of a natural illness, a political plot, or perhaps something more? We may never know for sure, but one thing is certain. His legacy lives on, not just in the lands he conquered, but in the minds of those who study his remarkable life. His campaigns spread Greek culture far and wide, influencing art, architecture, and philosophy. The trade routes he established connected the East and West, fostering economic and cultural exchanges. His legacy also includes the spread of scientific knowledge, as scholars from different regions shared their discoveries. Alexander's military strategies are still studied in military academies around the world. The city of Alexandria, which he founded, became a center of learning and culture, home to the famous Library of Alexandria. His image and name were immortalized in coins and inscriptions, a testament to his enduring influence. Today, historians continue to unravel the complexities of his life and reign, ensuring that his story is never forgotten. Alexander the Great's legacy is a tapestry woven through time, a blend of myth and history that continues to captivate the world. Thank you for joining me on this exploration of Alexander the Great's final days. As always, I'd love to hear your thoughts and theories. What do you think happened to Alexander? Let me know in the comments, and if you enjoyed this video, don't forget to like and subscribe for more history deep dives. Until next time, stay curious.